In this tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through a step-by-step guide to creating and formatting a complete ebook with Microsoft Word. This ebook can be published on platforms like Amazon KDP, where you can get buyers who pay you in dollars or other currencies. You can also create and format your book with MS Word and be able to sell on other places like Seller or even your social media platforms. So recently I did a tutorial talk about how to write a complete book with ChatGPT and also format it. And I'm going to be leaving the link in the description of this video so that you can go check it out. It's very, very comprehensive. So for this tutorial, we won't do much about writing from the scratch. So I'll just assume you already have your own manuscript written and we are going to be going on to structure it. So this is the manuscript I'm going to be working with. It's just a random text. So we are going to be using it for this tutorial. All right. So before your structuring begins, you also ought to have edited for grammatical errors. But if you don't have a lot to pay for, book editing, like you can't pay a book editor, you can install Grammarly for Microsoft Word. And with data connection, you can actually edit your book by yourself and have it come out looking like a professionally edited book. So if you want me to also create a tutorial to show you how to install Grammarly for Microsoft Word, kindly leave a comment in the comment section. And if I have enough people, comment, I'm going to go on to do that. To go on to that tutorial, but then it's really not difficult at all. It's something you can actually install very easily and then go on to edit your book. All right. Now, if you want to actually create this book for KDP, that's Amazon Kindle, you have to take note of your book size. And for Kindle, the accepted size is 5 by 8. So what you need to do is, let's say you want to actually do this for Amazon Kindle. What you need to do is to come to the layout of your book. All right, come to the layout of your MS Word. So depending on the version of MS Word you're actually using, the interface might be slightly different, but basically just navigate to the layout and then you're going to be seeing size. So when you come to size, go to more size and then come to here where you can actually enter custom sizes and then enter the width as 5 and the height as 8. So it's going to be a 5 by 8. So it will give you the accepted size for your Kindle book. All right. So let me enter it and let's see. It's going to be changing the size of our book immediately. All right. So I'll enter that and then I'll click on OK. And you can see that it's going to now be different. It's going to be smaller. All right. So that's the accepted size for Kindle books. So let's say this is what we want to work with. All right. So I'm just going to go on to edit my book. All right. So the first thing you want to take note of is the structure of your book. So a typical book would have a title page, a dedication page, a copyright page, table of contents, introduction, and the chapters. But then the dedication is not even compulsory. So you can just basically ensure that you have your title page, your copyright page, which is actually for where you actually get to tell people that okay, this book belongs to you, and any copyright infringements would be frowned upon. So you can actually get copyright templates from online. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'll come here and then I'll start to type in the title of my book. So let's say the title of my book is how to bake bread, or how to start an online business in 2024. Right, so that's going to be the title of my book, and then I'm going to now add a subtitle and make at least $100. Make at least $100 daily. All right. I'll now write my name, Mary Adele. So all of these are going to be formatted. So you just watch on as I go ahead. So I'm not going to enter my copyright. I'll write copyright and then maybe a dedication page. All right. Dedication and then introduction. Great. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to page break this into their separate pages. So what a page break does is that it helps you to separate each page so that they are not entering into each other. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll place my cursor on my copyright, and then I'm going to come to where I have insert, and then I'll click on page break. So you can see now that it has brought the copyright into, or it has made the title page to be on a separate page, and then it has shifted the other ones onto another page. So I'm going to also place my cursor on the dedication so that I can have my copyright page on a separate page of its own. So I'll place my cursor on the dedication, and then I'll click on page break. All right, so it places the copyright on its own separate page. Okay. Then to also have a separate page for my dedication, I'll place the cursor on my introduction, and then I'll click on page break, and then it also breaks the introduction, and then it breaks the dedication into its own page. All right. Then I'm going to be adding chapter 1 here. So I'll add chapter 1. All right. But then I'm going to be copying some text and then add it to my introduction. So I'll click on it, and then I'll bring this below my introduction. And then what I'm going to do next is that I'll place the cursor on my chapter 1, and then I'll page break it so that it takes it to its own separate page and have my introduction on its own separate page. All right. So what I ought to have also done before actually doing all of this would be to have, changed the font size of my book and also the font style. But I'm still going to do that. I'm just going to click on Control A on my laptop, and then I'm going to change the font size. So I'm going to come back to home, and then I'll change the font size to 12. Even though some of these different parts of the book are still going to be having their own different font size, but I just want to have a uniformity. So I'll make it 12. All right, I'll make the font size 12, and then I'll give it the font size, the font style. I'll give it I'll give it I'll give it Times New Roman. All right. So I'll type Times New Roman here, and then I'm going to enter, and then everything is Times New Roman formatted. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start to format the different pages of my book. So starting from the title page. So the title of my book is How to Start an Online Business in 2024. So I'm going to come here. I'll copy everything, and then I'm going to centralize it. All right. So expectedly, the subtitle is going to be a bit further away, and then the title of the author's name is also going to be a little bit beneath. All right. So I'm going to copy this and come to this place where we are having all of this text style, and then I'm going to be giving it title. So I'll click on title, and I'll give this particular one a title style, and then you're going to be seeing it to change the formatting. All right. So if I don't want it to be like this, I'll right click it, and then I'm going to change the style. So I'll right click it, and then I'm going to modify it. So I'll change the size, and then I can also decide to give it an underline, but I don't want to do that. I can also change the style as well. So let's say I want to give it this Algerian. All right. So I'll click on OK, and let's see what we have. Then I'll centralize it. All right. I'll centralize it. Then for this subheading, or for the subtitle, I can decide to italize it, and then I'll also increase the size to, let's say, 16. All right. Then I can also decide to format this one. I'll make it bold. Then I'll also increase the size as well. So let's say 14. All right. Then what I'll do is I'll bring this further down to the center of the book. And then I think that my title page is well formatted. Then the next one I'm going to be formatting is my copyright page. So I have my copyright page here, and then I'm going to be giving it heading one. I'll give it a heading one style formatting, and then I can also modify it here. So if I want to change the color, I can also change it by right clicking it, and then I'll change the color here. Maybe I want to change it back to black. I can do that. Then I also want to change the style, the font style. Maybe I want to change it to Algerian. I would also do that, and then I'll click on OK, and then I'll come back here and I'll centralize it. All right, so to get a proper copyright copyright text, you have to probably check it online, but I'm just going to copy this text here, and then I'll use it for our copyright. All right, then I'll do the same thing for the dedication. All right, so I'll centralize the dedication, and then I'm also going to give it a heading one. Then I'm going to assume that my dedication is this. Then I'll also centralize it as well. So you can see that the book is beginning to take shape. All right. Then I'm going to bring it down a bit. I'll bring it down. Then the next one is our introduction page. So for our introduction page, I'll also give it heading one, and then I'm going to centralize it. So I think that by default, all our heading one has now taken on this style. All right. So I think that's a good thing. So we will just assume that this is our introduction. Then we would now go on to also format our chapter one as a heading one. The reason why we are actually giving them all of these different styles is so that when we want to create our table of contents, we won't have issues. It's going to come out well. All right. So I'll also just come here and I'll centralize this chapter one. All right. So let's say I'm going to be giving a space between this chapter one and the rest of the body text. So let's say I have another chapter. Let's say I have a chapter two. I would also just come here and then I'll make this my chapter two, enter, and then I'll type in chapter two. All right. And then I'll also come and I'll give it heading one, make it heading one, and then I'll centralize it as well. All right. So we have successfully gotten a title page. We have gotten a copyright page, a dedication page. Another thing we did not add was a table of contents. We did not format for table of contents. So I would ensure that our table of contents is after our dedication. So I'll just come here and then I'll type in table of contents, But then remember, we have to make it on a separate page. So I'll just come here and then I'll page break it. All right. I'll come to insert and I'll page break it so that it's on its own separate page. What we're going to be doing is to give our book numbers. All right. So we're going to be numbering our book. And to do that, I'm going to be placing my cursor on my copyright page where I want the numbering to start from. To do that, I'll come to insert and then we are going to be going to page. We're going to come to page numbers. All right. So I'll click on page numbers and then we are going to be, choosing the style of page numbering that we want to use. Okay. So do we want it to be at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page? Or do we want it to be at the margin, or we want it to be current position? So I always like to make my I always like to make my page numbering at the bottom of the page. So you can now select the particular style you want to use. So let's say I want to use this last one here. I'll just click on it and then it's going to start it's going to start our page numbering. All right. So unfortunately, I don't know why it's always starting from the title page, which is actually not supposed to be. All right. So I'm just going to come here and then I'll close the footer. So I'll close the header and footer, and then this is how our page numbering is going to look like. All right, so you can see we have our different page numbering now. So the next thing we're going to do is to create our table of contents. All right, so to create our table of contents, I'll come here to where I have table of contents. I'll place my cursor there, and then I'm going to I'm going to now go to references, and then I'll come to table of content. So you can see where we have table of content. All right, so I'll click on it. So let's go with this first one and let's see how it turns out. All right, so this is how our table of contents is now going to look like. So you can see that because we're able to properly, format the book, our table of contents was able to come out this way. Or so you want to ensure that when you're formatting your book, you give each of the individual part of the book their own style so that it will come out this way. All right, so let's look at let's confirm to see if each of these chapters or each of these parts are actually in the right places. All right, so like this chapter 2, now let's see, is our chapter 2 on page 7? Let's look at it and to confirm. So you can see that our chapter 2 is actually on page 7, so it is actually properly formatted. All right, and that's that about how to actually format a book for Amazon KDP or other platforms using Microsoft Word. Is actually very, very, very simple, as you can see from this tutorial. So I believe that you have gained massive value from this tutorial. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and also turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss out when we post similar videos like this as well. And also, please share this video and also like it. Share it to your friends and other people in your network whom you believe would benefit from watching this tutorial as well. All right, so thank you very much for staying until the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.